Coming to you live from our studio in Atlanta, Georgia, this is the A1 Trading Daily Show. Whether markets are rising or falling, we're here to keep you up to date with the latest market news. Join us as we trade currencies, commodities, and indices live, Monday through Friday.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another live stream. Happy Wednesday. So happy that all of y'all are here watching with us today. We're going to hop into the markets with Nick here in just a second. But before we do that, let's check out how some of our assets are trending so far to start off the day here in the market heat map on the Edge Finder. So right up top here, I can see our biggest mover to the upside. We actually have two of them that are tied for our biggest mover to the upside so far today. That's NZD CAD and Aussie CAD. I also see NZD CHF, Aussie CHF, USD CAD, and GBP CAD up here making moves to the upside. Let's check out the bottom of the list. CAD JPY, Euro JPY, Euro AUD, GBP AUD, GBP JPY, and CHF JPY. So yen pairs seem to be moving to the downside. A couple euro pairs down here as well. And the New Zealand dollar pairs, two of them, NZD CAD and NZD CHF, starting off the day pretty well. I want to thank our three sponsors for today's live stream, 8Cap, Superfunded, and Forex Tester. Thank you so much for sponsoring today's stream. You can find out more about those three in the links down in the description below. But let's go ahead and get started and jump into the markets with Nick.
Awesome. Thank you, James, for that introduction. And welcome back, everybody. Thank you for being here. Let me get my screen shared for you guys. As we get started, as each day begins, James runs through just some of the biggest movers, and he mentioned some of the Aussie pairs, the NZD pairs, making some substantial moves here today. And the dollar also something notable on the list. We have the dollar pulling back here a little bit in the early portions of the New York session. During the London session, we had a pretty tremendous upswing on the dollar following yesterday's volatility. Now we're looking at a 4-hour chart of DXY. This is the US dollar index, and DXY had an explosive move yesterday. Again, just a really, really massive pull to the upside, and then followed through primarily during the London session and even in the parts of the Asian session yesterday, or I guess today, depending on where you are in the world. For me, it was yesterday. Today, what we're going to be looking at is we're going to be looking at some dollar trades. We're going to be looking at some gold markets and a little bit of reaction to today's news that we just got. I'd like to just pull that one up for you guys and make sure that we have the latest for those of you guys who are unfamiliar as to why the markets are moving this morning. That's hopefully why you tune into these streams each day. We try and cover what's going on so that you can stay up to date and informed with your trading. If you're enjoying the show, remember, hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, all the good YouTube stuff. It helps to support the channel, and it just helps us to stay on the air and continue to do these live streams every day. So this morning, guys, we had ADP non-farm employment change. Now, this is not the big NFP number. This is not the once a month Friday release that we're expecting to come out this Friday, but it is still useful information that caused the markets to stir. Let's go over that together really quick. So first thing you need to know, if you already know what this number means, well, the numbers came out forecasted at 197K, came out at 242K. That's a beat by a pretty substantial amount. And let's go over what this is. So it's the estimated change in the number of employed people during the previous month, excluding the farming industry and government. Okay, why does this matter? Well, job creation is an important leading indicator of consumer spending, which accounts for a majority of overall economic activity and, of course, inflation. So very, very important stuff to pay attention to. We had hotter than expected numbers coming out here this morning, which, again, a bit of an interesting one to see the dollar coming down on. But despite that, you're seeing some volatility. I took it actually as an opportunity personally to pick up some more dollar longs. We'll get into that as we get into today's show. I just want to, again, remind you as we get started, seems like everybody's sort of piling in now. If you're enjoying the stream, do me a big favor and take half a second to hit the thumbs up button down below. Help us out. It would just be super helpful to get more viewers in the audience, to try and get more word out there about realistic trading stuff. Again, we try and do this every day as a service to the trading community, just to provide you guys with the latest, and I hope that it is helpful to you. We had a donation here on the A1 Trading channel. Angelo, thank you so much, my friend, for the donation. Again, you donated yesterday, so the $5 donation's rolling in. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for your daily commitment to sharing analysis and making these videos possible. Thank you, and can't wait for your Euro USD analysis. Angelo, Euro USD coming right up, my friend. And thank you again for the donation to the stream. Let's pull it up and see what's going on with the Euro. Wow, there's a lot going on with the Euro. So first things first, I was wrong. I thought the Euro would not take a nosedive here, and it did. Fortunately, I'll go over to that in just a second. I am still long dollar, so I'm not completely out of this trade. By proxy, I'm long dollar through dollar yen. But I didn't catch this Euro USD trade. And you can see price came up into this resistance. And the one thing that was really hesitant for me about this is that Euro pairs across the board were not my favorite. I preferred dollar yen. And the reason for that is that Euro pairs were like the short interest of retail traders. And just to back my claim up with data, it's probably not the case anymore, actually. But let me show you this. So we're going to include all currency pairs, and I'm going to show you guys the retail positioning of Euro pairs currently. If you guys don't have this data, by the way, this is free to access data. The retail positioning factor is available in our free version of our software. My company, A1 Trading, we build tools for traders along with live streams and all the stuff that we do. If you guys would like access to the data that I'm looking at, this is 100% no strings attached. It's for free, available in our tool, the Edge Finder free version. I'm using the pro version, but there is a free version available. We just dropped a link in the chat on both channels. Click that link that's being dropped in the chat. If you fill out the form, you can get access to exactly what I'm looking at for free. So I want to show you guys Euro pairs, and it's shifted pretty tremendously on some of these pairs, but still notice something very interesting. Euro yen, Euro CAD, Euro NZD, Euro pound, Euro Aussie. Retail is shorting these pairs. The only ones they're long on are the euro dollar. I'm sorry, and Euro Swiss, 66% and 81%. Guys, that's a really substantial thing to pay attention to. You've got Euro USD, the retail traders pig piling into a long trade here, despite a strong downward trend and a huge move to the downside following hawkish news from Jerome Powell. When I look at this, this to me is a chart I want to be shorting. I do not want to be long this asset. I think that this is a big red flag. So again, if you don't have access to the data that we just mentioned, all of this is for free, available in the Edge Finder free version. You can grab access to that using the link that was just dropped in the chat for you guys. It's also in the description if that's easier for you. Now, I want to just draw a comparison for a moment, guys. When we look at this data, let's go look at something different. Look at Euro Aussie for a second with me. I know a lot of you guys might not trade Euro Aussie, but this is a learning lesson when we talk about retail sentiment. This chart, the retail traders are absolutely going crazy trying to short this market. And guess what it just keeps doing? It just keeps rolling on higher, right? So trying to short this market has been a painful experience for many retail traders. And so when I look at this, this is something, if anything, it actually gives me a bullish bias. Go with the flow. Don't try and fight this thing and think you're smarter than everyone else. That's the tough time that a lot of retail traders get themselves into. So Euro pairs were not my favorite at the time yesterday, a couple days ago when I was looking at euro dollar. So I never took that short. That's my excuse to you guys for missing this. I didn't catch the short, which of course in hindsight 2020 I shoulda, coulda, woulda. But you guys know what I say about shoulda, coulda, woulda. Those are worthless words when it comes to trying to trade for a living. It is not a very helpful thing to say those words. They're like the curse words of Forex. Anyways, let's keep going. I want to show you guys where I'm at. I picked up a dollar yen trade, a second one actually. I've got $2 yen longs going on right now, And let's go over this. So I've got a first trade that's in a pretty good profit, around $1,700 of profit. Price pulled back this morning, and I actually picked up a long again on the dollar yen at a retest. Wow, that rhymed. I didn't even mean to. Right. So price pulled back to this level of demand, which now didn't hold out as well that I was thinking. But my stop loss is in place. If price breaks through all the 61.8s and all that good stuff, then I'll be out of this trade. But I'm looking for a rebound buy here on the dollar yen, just anticipating more dollar bullishness and trying to just ride this pullback if I possibly can. We'll see if that's the correct call, quote unquote. YouTube will always tell you, and so will Twitter when you're correct after the market makes its move. Very rarely when it's actually making its move will people pipe up, but that's how social media goes. And the point I bring that up for is that when you as a trader are trying to do well in this stuff, stay away from comment sections to try and make your decisions. Who cares what so-and-so thinks about your trade? Doesn't make a difference. If you have a trading strategy that you've back tested, you've been having success with it, nobody else matters. That's the beauty of trading. It's sort of a solo actionable sport. I had a conversation or someone commented on my video recently. They said there's no point in having communities or conversations about trading because it's a solo venture, which is true. The actual act of trading is a solo decision, right? You're supposed to be making those decisions and setting up your trade and so on and so forth. The difference, however, is that you can collaborate and learn with others. I've had amazing conversations with so many people on our various podcast episodes and stuff we've done. The point is, though, the actionable part is solo, and the learning process can be collaborative, but never let like comments and stuff get in your way when you're trying to place trades, because you'll just second guess everything you're doing, and there's no point in doing that. So let's see. Let's keep going. We'll take a look at the pound USD here this morning. Big movement to the downside, guys. And pound, we have to mark what was support as now potential resistance. And this is a big thing for me because I talked about this for several days. If you guys have been watching the channel, then you know when it comes to the pound, I've said this thing several times. We've been range bound. I'm waiting for a breakout. Finally got the breakout. And so now some sort of pullback into that zone to me would be a kill zone, quote unquote, a sell zone, whatever you'd like to call it. I would say there's a pretty good shot you see some resistance if price comes up into that area. Is it a guarantee? No, there's no guarantees in the markets. Sooner you start thinking in probabilities, not in certainties, the better off you're going to be when it comes to this stuff. If you're enjoying the stream, take half a second, guys. If you've learned one thing or if you've benefited in some way from the channel today, take 1 second and hit the thumbs up button on the video. It really would help us out if you have not already done so. So thank you to you guys. We have so many regular viewers who support us here, which really means the world. So thank you so much. All right, so let's see. Can you show us the 15-minute chart on dollar yen? I might swing back to dollar yen. I'm gonna keep going with my pound USD trade though, or idea though, and we'll come back to some other things later. The pound USD, guys, in terms of a specific price or sell idea, I think that 50% looks pretty interesting. And I think stop loss, I really like putting my stop loss above the 61.8, in this case above, and a long trade below. And then looking for a continuation move, right? In terms of the pound, if you really start scrolling out, there's room for this thing to come down further, especially after a break and retest like this. We'll see if that plays out. But you start winding out the chart and you kind of see there's levels of resistance, support levels that have not been tested in a long time, which very well and very quickly could come into play if you're looking at that pound. I mean, that has a lot of room to come down much further, in my personal opinion, especially after this candle here. That's a big sign of sell strength. A retest move on this is likely to look sell biased in my view. Now, let me show you guys something. I can tell you, I haven't even looked at it, but I can tell you with confidence that likely retail traders are buying this market. They see this as a discount. They say, oh, hey, it's low. Let me buy it. And let me show you. Let's see if I'm correct about that. I'm going to take out my filters on this data, and I'm going to go in here, and I'm going to go major currency pairs. And let's look at the pound and see what's going on. Yep, there it is. So again, it's very predictable. Retail traders are almost too predictable. It's almost dangerous how predictable they are. Retail traders, pound USD, they're long the pound. So they're going against the trend as sort of usual. Pound USD dropping, and 19% of traders, retail traders, are short And a whopping 81% are long on the pound. So they're buying this, betting that it's going to recover and go back up. And maybe in the very short term, perhaps there's something there. But overall, I would expect personally this thing to continue to drop. And we'll see if that's right. Sometimes the markets reverse. So sometimes there's times where I'm wrong. But I think there's a good shot that based on that data, we could see a continuation. So is Powell speaking again today? Yes, he is. We've got some more stuff coming from him in about 15 minutes. We're going to take a quick moment to pause here, though, and hear from one of our sponsors, guys. So bear with me. We're going to hear from one of our sponsors who makes this stream possible right after this. Check it out.
That's right. Thanks, Nick. Real quick, guys, I want to remind you that today's stream is sponsored by 8cap, and 8cap is an award-winning regulated broker that gives traders a better trading experience. If you choose to trade with 8cap, you'll be able to trade CFDs like gold, Forex pairs, cryptos, indices, and more. Additionally, their spreads are razor thin. They offer up to a 500-to-1 leverage, and their customer support is top-notch. One very cool feature is that they've recently partnered up with TradingView.com, meaning that you can do all of your trading through 8cap directly on TradingView. If you're a fan of the channel, 8cap has partnered up to offer the A1 trading community a free copy of the Edge Finder, that special little software tool that Nick is using in all of his live streams. You can get that for free, and all you have to do is sign up with 8cap and deposit $1,000 or more into your trading account. Click the link in the description to find out more. 8cap is the best in the business, and we are very happy to be sponsored by them. You can click the link in the description to sign up now. Thank you, 8cap. Nick, back to you.
Awesome. And thank you, James, for that little break. Again, guys, make sure to check out 8cap if you have not already. It's a great brokerage. They offer some really cool perks, and all of that information is linked below, as James mentioned. Taking a quick second now, I want to show you guys something. Somebody had a good question in the chat. They asked about how COT data on the Edge Finder gives us a bullish or a bearish reading. So we pull in COT data. What this does is it shows us what institutional money is doing, right? It gives us a glimpse of what institutional money, hedge funds, banks, etc. Are they buying something or are they selling something? Would it be useful? Think about this for a second. Pause and think about this in your head. If you aren't using this, let me ask you a question. Would it be useful to you to know what hedge funds and banks are doing with the US dollar? Are they buying the US dollar, or are they shorting or selling the US dollar? If that information would be useful to you, then let me show you something. So this USD chart here, I'm going to go and I'm just going to filter USD only for a second. And what you can see on the screen here now, this is our US dollar long to short ratio COT data report tracker. This shows us that institutional money, as of the latest filing that we have on tap, 67% of institutional money is long according to the reported CFTC COT data. This is really useful stuff because now you know, okay, well, the institutional money is long. And look what's been happening, guys, to the dollar. If we go over here, we take a look at DXY, dollar's going flying high. Now, it's not a perfect indicator. COT data is certainly not the holy grail by any means, but it can be very useful information. And if you don't have access to this, let me show you guys something really quick. If you guys want to access the Edge Finder and try out the full list of features, if you're interested in that, do me a quick favor here. This is the easiest way to contact one of us. If you go to a1trading.com, in the bottom right, there's a chat box. If you click that chat box and chat with one of our team members here, someone from our staff may be able to get you set up with a free trial of the full version. Or if you want access to the free version of the Edge Finder, it's limited, but is available now for free. We'll drop a link in the chat as well if that's something you would prefer. But both options are available to you. Again, you can go chat with us on our online chat box there. It'll be one of my my employees here at A1 Trading. We'll get you set up with a trial if you're interested. But again, that is why we sort of visualize the software and make that available to people who are interested. So Angelo says, does 8cap support USA traders? I had trouble getting on the account. No, it doesn't, unfortunately, Angelo. So it's unavailable to US clientele, unfortunately. I'd be using them myself if I could, but 8cap is not available to US citizens. in the US, we have some pretty strict regulations, which don't, they sort of limit the number of things that we can trade with, and regulation is pretty tight. So not the best in terms of regulation or availability for US clients. Here's the gold chart, and let's pull it up. XAUUSD here, guys. We're the heavily requested gold getting a bit of a pop here to the upside, and we could also go look at retail sentiment for gold here this morning and see what's going on with this one. So let's go back to retail sentiment. We keep an eye on this one pretty frequently. So we're going to go to commodities, or we're going to add commodities to this list, and now we can see gold just popped up here. And guys, here's something, a red flag about gold. Retail traders are 80% long on gold. So again, why does this matter? Well, if retail traders are betting that this thing is going to fly high, it's not a certainty, but it's often enough that they get caught on the wrong side of that, and this thing could just roll back over and continue its downward push. Of course, which, is a tough thing to be a part of. So again, this market to me is a downward trend. We are expecting overall more bearishness here on gold until further notice. If something changes, then we'll also adjust. But for now, that's where we're at. So yeah, something to think about there. And yeah, I also want to show you guys the watch list as well. Gold is now actually on this, getting a sell reading. So not only does the gold chart look bearish, but we're also getting readings from the edge finder pointing towards a bearish reading and potential sell setups coming along the way. So let me see if I can show you guys. We're going to pull up the gold chart specifically. So I'm going to go to commodities, go to gold, and let's see what's going on with the gold chart. How often do you pull in the COT data? Once a week, Abhishek. Good question. How are you getting your institutional order with the CFTC COT blackouts? Yeah, Eddie, we are just reporting the latest that we could get. As soon as we get it from CFTC, we put it into the product. So, yeah. The paid version is really good. Silver Show, thank you very much for that, my friend. If you're enjoying the Edge Finder, that is really cool. And remember, if you guys, whether you have the tool already or you don't have the tool already, remember, you guys can always ask us questions. If you do want access to the Edge Finder, one of the best ways to do it, the full version, if you're interested in getting the full access, head over to a1trading.com. That's our website, and you can just chat with us in the bottom right, like I mentioned earlier. That's a quick and easy way to get in contact with a representative on our team. So yeah. Every month is a bit low. Did I say every month? How often does the COT? I meant every week. If I said month, I apologize. It's every week. We get once a week data pulls on the Edge Finder. And if you guys have the Edge Finder, it's the bottom here, data sources and update. You can go here at any time and you can see the latest timers. Again, our software engineer has worked to build the timers that pull all the data, and that's been a headache and a half in terms of development, but that's kind of how that works. And you can check that out on your own time. Gold, guys, is overall a sell bias in our view. And guys, we have the news coming in just a few moments. We have 8 minutes to go until Jerome Powell's back up on the stage, and we'll see how that impacts the US dollar. Again, gold starting to poke up a little bit, but again, we have a sell bias on gold. And after this big break, it's an interesting one to watch for sure, because again, you had this overall downward trend, a bit of an upward structure going on, and then failure here, right? Rolled right on over. So retests, in my opinion, are more sell heavy than anything else. That would be my take on it. If I'm drawing a fib from swing high to swing low, we get some levels drawn up and we can see there was this previous level here. So if price comes up into this zone, I'm marking a supply zone that I'm interested in, 1833.5 looks like a possible sell zone in my take. Just trend continuations, right? Looking for that pullback after a big run to the downside. I don't like to sell down in these areas, but a retest, that actually catches my attention. USD gonna fly? We'll see. We'll see. Again, we're coming right into the news pretty quick, so stick around with us, guys. We've got coverage for you throughout the day. If you're enjoying the stream, remember, hit that thumbs up button. Take half a second. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. If you're new, we do content like this all the time to keep you guys, if you're an aspiring Forex trader, this is a great place for you to come each day to get your news, to get your coverage on what's going on in Forex. And that's kind of what we do here. So make sure, if you have not already, subscribe to the channel. And there we go. Looking for sells on US 30. let's quick look at US 30 this morning, see what's going on. Man, my goodness, look at that drop yesterday. Huge straight line to the downside. And yeah, this is there's nothing here for me in current levels, but this, man, this chart looks really, really tired, right? It's a tough it's been a tough run for the US 30. We went choppy for a while, broke out to the downside, and now even just retested this zone before finding heavy sellers resistance coming in there. So yeah, if you're looking lower time frame, there perhaps is like some pullback setups or something like that. But yeah, yeah. So we have some people. Let me ask you guys this: are you guys bullish or bearish on the dollar? Because we got people in the chat who are saying both. People are saying dollar's going to fly, dollar's going to fall. And again, 5 minutes to go now until the news gets started. We have some potential here for some volatility. Now, you guys might notice I have $2 yen positions open going into this release, which is interesting. And let me explain myself here. Nick, why do you have two trades open? Why does it say X2 next to your update down below? What do you guys, I mean, Chandler does a great job with that little banner down below. All that stuff that you guys have, that's the producer behind the scenes making that possible. And really, really cool. But you guys can see like an updated view on trades that Frank and I are in, we're the two traders here at A1 Trading here, and or the two in-office traders. We also have Ivan, who contributes as well, remote, and he is awesome as well. But yeah, we'll see how this impacts the trade. Again, let me give you guys a bit of clarity on my current positions. So I am long USDJPY from earlier this week. Caught a great entry. Price just went parabolic. Last night I was looking at it. I was like, oh my goodness, this thing just has no chill. Now price pulling back, and actually this morning, intriguing enough to the point where I actually picked up a secondary position and rolled stops to break even on the first one. A lot to unpack there, but basically my first trade was profitable and my stop loss was down here. So I took that stop loss and I just said, hey, you know what? I'll roll it to break even, and then I'll take a second trade here and I'll put a stop here. So I have one trade. If this thing crashes, I'll lose about $500. Actually, it's less than that. It's about $400. If everything falls apart here, I'll lose about $400. But if this thing rallies, the dollar yen is set to be a really big winner for me. So we'll see if that plays out. And again, we have news coming out in just a few moments here. So I'll let it run for a minute and we'll go into a follow-up stream. We've got another guest who's going to take over the show. But yeah, it's an interesting time for dollar bulls, dollar yen, of course, one that I've had my eye on, and you can see I've taken many trades on dollar yen recently. So looking to catch more if I can here. And remember, guys, if you don't already have our Discord, let me take 1 second to remind you guys. If you're looking to join our Discord channel, I share all of my trades in here. So like this morning, I updated my trade on dollar yen. If you guys want access to the trading signals, the trading alerts, we have two things for you. One, we have a free Discord, which will drop the link in the chat. It just got dropped. Click that link if you want access to the free Discord. And if you want to sign up for the trading signals and alerts and coaching webinars, that is also something available. You can do so using the link in the description, or just go to our website, a1trading.com, if you're interested in signing up for our full Discord service that we offer. So yeah, that's a big account. Hey, congrats, mate. Thank you very much, Bernard. Yeah, I mean, I've been trading for I guess about 7 years now, and it's been a long journey to build up trading accounts and stuff like that. So I appreciate it. It's about 7 years in. You know, I always try and preface that because new people, I don't want you to jump in here and think like, oh, this is just what a trader who's been doing it for 2 months does. No. When I traded for 2 months, I traded on a demo account, and then for 6 months more, and then small lots and all that sort of stuff. So it is all perspective, but we'll see if we can get a move here in the coming minutes with the dollar yen. Again, dollar itself, we'll take a look at DXY. DXY faring a little bit better than my pick at dollar yen, to be completely honest. But again, sure enough, the dollar, like I said, I think if it does pull back, which very well could, if it does pull back, I think you still have support levels to keep an eye on. I'm going to draw a fib from the swing low to swing high. And you can see you've got stuff at the 38.2% retracement. So if price pulls back, looking for continuations there. If price pulls that 50, continuations there. So yeah. Do you live by trading? I do, and I don't. I trade as a part of my income, but I do other things as well. Obviously, the YouTube channel. We build software for traders. Um, I'm speaking at a potential upcoming event, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I do other things as well. Yeah. So again, coming into this news, if you're unfamiliar with the news that I'm referencing, let me make sure I show you guys what I'm talking about. We've got, again, Fed Jerome Powell testifying here today, and this is set to begin momentarily. So yesterday there was a really immediate reaction. So I don't know. We'll see if there's something here. Yesterday, within the first minute of Jerome Powell's speech, there was volatility on the dollar. Is that going to be the same case today? Well, we'll have to keep an eye on it. And again, you guys are, let me see, pull up my dollar yen trade again, just so you can keep an eye on it. Yeah. So we'll see. Again, yesterday, like I said, there was a lot of volatility off of Jerome Powell's speech. Anytime the man speaks, there's just people watching for monetary policy cues and economic health cues and that sort of thing. So again, currently long with 2 trades on dollar yen, and we will be monitoring this. Again, if you guys are already inside of the signals group, I'll be keeping an update there. If you want access to that, again, remember the link is down below in the description. And we also dropped a link to the free one in the chat as well. US 30 sell killed. Is US 30 doing something here this morning? Hasn't really moved much, unless you're scalping like the 5-minute chart, which is, you know, all I got to say is if I was scalping the 5-minute chart on US 30, I would need a lot of like Diet Coke or coffee or something to keep me sane. Because that is, look at that, Euro USD dropping. Dollar yen's probably doing well there. Look at that. A little pop on the 5-minute chart as well. And again, this is something that whenever he speaks, there's volatility throughout. So it's not like a one-off spike. It will likely cause some volatility here. So let me go ahead and pass over the stream to our guest to take over here for a little bit. I'll say hello to FX Big Dog, Mr. Gary. How are you, sir?
Nick, I'm doing very well, buddy. Very well. And yeah, a lot of volatility coming out with the rate decision as keeping the rates unchanged at 4.5%. And then we've got the Fed Powell speaking as well and creating, like you said, volatility, not necessarily a directive move, but volatility.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing that recently the market has just been so fascinating with this concept of trying to balance interest rates and inflation. And I don't know if you saw that thing yesterday with Congress just ripping Jerome Powell. It was a bloodbath for them. They really went in on him. So, a tough time in markets and not really an easy solution to the inflation problem. So some people saying, hey, just go ahead and shoot it up more and then interest rates to the moon kind of thing, and a lot of people giving them backlash for that. It's a whole thing. So it definitely causing volatility, to say the least. So Gary, thank you for coming on the show. If you guys don't know Gary already, he comes on once a week, shares his analysis, all sorts of technical trading setups and styles show up on these streams. And Gary definitely has his very own and unique one. If you guys have not already seen him before and you would like to check out his own content, he's got a great YouTube of his own. We're going to share that link in the chat here now as you watch. Hopefully you can take a second to go subscribe to him there as well. And Gary, thank you for coming on. I'll leave the stream to you, my friend.
Cool. Thank you. I appreciate it, Nick.
All right.
All righty. So a lot of movement out this week. Remember, we've got, if you look at the calendar this week, we haven't just got the rate decision here for the Bank of Canada, but we had, of course, the Aussie rate decision as well. They raised the rates 25 basis point, which created some weakness in the Aussie. And then we've got coming up this Friday, we've got non-farm payrolls, which means jobs for for the US as well as Canada. So I think there's a lot of movement coming out for the US and for Canada out this week. A lot of stuff that's going to move the market. Let's go take a look at the dollar index right here and take a quick look at the dollar index. So the dollar index, again, I'm going to go to the daily time frame just to get an overall of what we're expecting to happen on the dollar. The dollar, we were targeting this previous high right here. We had this nice little rally to the upside, which we were targeting these highs up here at the top. And that's coming off this support here at the 1.618 extension right here. And so now that we've completed this, we're starting to see negative divergence. You can see right here the price has moved up higher, and we've got the oscillator pushing lower. So momentum pushing lower, price moving up. That's a key indication that we're seeing price and momentum disagreeing. So honestly speaking, despite the fact that we had a little bit of a spike on the dollar, I don't think this is going to be long term. I think this is going to be a short term spike. I think we're going to see the dollar continue to fall, and I think we're at the top. I know that Nick says, "Oh, let's not pick tops and bottoms," and he's absolutely right on that. We shouldn't really be picking tops and bottoms because we can get burnt. But I can say this, that there's definitely indication that we do have a top in place here on the US dollar, on the dollar index. And so I've actually got a lot of money invested here in the US dollar CAD. So I'm going to go ahead and open up this chart right here. And if I look at this and I break this chart down, I'm also seeing that we're expecting some downside move in US dollar CAD. Now, we just had the rate decision. They kept the rates unchanged. And so we'll take a look at a lot of the Canadian crosses to see how the Canadian is actually featuring. In fact, let me do this. Let me pop open the, let's go ahead and see 5 minutes. I'm going to jump to a 1 minute chart right here, or at least a 1 minute time frame. And so far right now, when the showing that we've seen weakness out of CAD. So the data that came, weakness out of CAD. We also seen a weakness out of the US. So US CAD right now is battling for control. It means that we've got two weak currencies, and they're trying to define which one's going to be weaker based on what you're seeing right now. There again, minutes just updated. Now the CAD seems to be pushing weaker than the US. And that just means that this push that we're seeing right here is what we're seeing at the moment right now. As soon as we start seeing a change, and that I've got it on the 1 minute right now, as soon as we start seeing a change of this momentum, so every minute we can keep an eye on this to see exactly what the market's doing. We can go ahead and make a decision as to how we're going to be able to trade that. But I'm going to say this, that based on, and I based everything on wave structure. And based on the wave structure that I'm seeing right here, we have a wave 1, 2. We did have price moving to a wave 3 up here. Then we had this little retracement move right here, very shallow at the 2-3. And then price rallied up here to the 1.27. So I'm expecting that we're going to start seeing a turnaround and a push back down towards this low right here, around about 34. I'm going to go say 34.80 is a target to the downside. So anywhere between, let's say, 3,500 to 34.80 probably is going to be the push to the downside. So if we're trading that now at 37, call it 80, because that's I think the high that we got to, then I'm going to say that we have a projected 300 pip downside move towards 34.80 right here. Now, again, I agree with Nick about picking tops. If you're not really good at picking tops, and sometimes it really takes a lot of work to be able to pick those tops, then what you should really be doing here is looking at the lower time frame to look for any signs of reversal. Now, if you look at my 1 hour, my 1 hour is also indicating right here that this is where I'm anticipating the turning point to be at. Now, what I've got to see is at least the market come back below this 36.64 level. So I need at least 100-point pullback to take out the low, and if we, or at least trade below this highs right here. And once we trade below those highs, then we can clearly state that, yeah, the market's on its way down. Now, we all know that if we have to wait for the market to drop 100 points right here, that's a lot of missed opportunity. So I'm already, you can see right here, I'm already starting to lock in some positions right here and anticipating a downside move. So I'm getting a little bit ahead of the game. And some of you might say, well, Big Dog, this is picking the top. You're picking the top on this one. And yeah, I'm pretty known for that. So I'm doing pretty much what I normally do here. Let me just go ahead and open up another segment here. I need to see the chat. See if I can get the chat open here. So this is pretty much where we're at the moment right now with regards to, oh, there we go. I've got the chat going. All right, perfect. So so this is where we're at. So at the moment right now, as I'm monitoring the movement, I will keep my eye on some changes. Now remember, this is the 1 hour time frame. I could go down to a 15-minute chart, and I could go ahead and start looking at the 15 right here, and I'll get an earlier turning point. In fact, if I want to go ahead, I noticed that Nick was going to the 5-minute time frame. Yeah, the 5-minute would absolutely give us a good sort of sense of that the market's changing, at least the trend. And if we see here on the 5-minute, this is consolidation right here. Market seems to be tied in, keeping itself very tied up inside this range. And that means that traders, all I really need to see now is that the US dollar CAD hold up here at around about 37.70. Well, actually, we can call it, yeah, let's call it 70. So 37.70 and trade below 37.43. So let's say it's 37.40. If we break below 37.40, then we can start for the next few days, start thinking bearish on the US dollar CAD. Now, we'll have to keep an eye on exactly what is going on right here and whether or not the market is indeed moving to the downside. Now, I've got a trade right here says, are you taking in consideration the higher time frames to give you an added confidence? Well, absolutely. Listen here. I'm looking at the large time frames, and as I already went to the largest time frame right here on the daily, and I've already established that the large time frame has indicated that we have a 5-wave structure and that this is a turning point. This is a place where I'm anticipating price to move down. Now, once we've established structure and we've established sort of context of the market, now what we want to do is we want to actually go down to the lower time frame and actually look and see whether we get the signs and the indication and the signals that yes, we are turning, and that indeed what we saw on the large time frame is confirmed. So absolutely. So this is where we're at with the US dollar CAD. Now, I'm going to go to take a look at the New Zealand. You're welcome, buddy. I want to take a look at the New Zealand CAD at the moment right now. So let's do this. Let's go to New Zealand CAD. And again, I'm going to the Canadian crosses right here because I'm expecting, believe it or not, and I said this to one of my co-traders that I trade with. I said to him that because he went long on New Zealand CAD and Aussie CAD. And I said to him, that's fine that you've gone long on those, but I do expect that overall I'm going to see the market moving bullish on the Canadian dollar. I'm expecting a stronger Canadian move. And right here, you can take a look at the 1 minute. We can see right here, we're already starting to see a switch. See how the Canadian has now gone ahead and moved stronger. Now, if I go to New Zealand CAD, then that would mean that anything bullish on New Zealand CAD that I'm looking to trade would be short term. But I'm looking at the larger time frame right here, and for me, I'm expecting New Zealand CAD to actually midterm to drop back down to this 82.42 level right here. And so I'm expecting that any sort of rally is just retracement moves for it to go back down south again. So let's jump into a lower time frame right here. Let's take a look at the lower time frame. And I'm going to move out of the 5 minutes for a minute here. That's funny. We'll go to the 1 hour. And I'm going to take a look at the 1 hour. So here is the 1 hour right here. And what's unique about the 1 hour is that we did see the market create this wave 1, 2, 3 down here. Yes, 4. Okay. Market dropped to 5. And then we tried to take out the fourth wave high right here and failed to do so. Which means that traders that we're in this larger wave structure. And it comes all the way from the top right here down all the way to the bottom right here. So which means that this is seen as a corrective move. We had a failed break of the fourth wave high, which is pretty okay because that means we're going to have a running flat. And that means that traders that we may very well be in this downward trend towards the next downward target, which again, I'm anticipating 82.50 to come into play. So this is going to be real interesting how this all plays out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and take a look over here. Now, just so that you know, I've been placing some buys on the US dollar, on the New Zealand CAD. In fact, we just got out of a buy. No, actually, we got out of a buy, and I put in another buy as a potential pop before the dip. And so as I go ahead and take a look at the lower time frame right here, this is how I'm going to have to break it down. Traders, anytime you see news coming out, go to the technicals and break it down the technicals, because when you see this unexpected rally and you're trying to figure out what's going on, in most cases, if you actually go ahead and look at the technicals, it'll show you that the market's setting up a good setup for a possible short-term rally before the dip. And so here I'll start off right here at the top, start working my way down, and check this out. Right here, we can see that we have the 1.618 extension right here. Price came down to it, and then what's happening right here, we're creating a new downward swing. And price has now gone ahead and retested the previous wave one right there that's now going to become resistance. So because of that, this tells me that we're going to see price stalling here and heading back down south and chasing after this target at 83.49. So this is my downside short-term target for the day. And that's going to be at 83.49 right here. So I'm going to say that maybe I got myself caught up in this wrong direction. I've got two trading accounts. One's long on the New Zealand CAD. The other one's short on the New Zealand CAD. So I'm hedging itself. I'm hedging the positions. And I'm looking for some short-term gains right here. If that doesn't play out, that means I'll be going ahead and looking to see a bounce here and possibly profiting on my buys. But I'm looking for that midterm, or let's call it that long-term. No, it won't be long-term. Midterm, short-term move on the New Zealand CAD right here down to around about 49. So 83.49 is the downside target, with the potential to go all the way down to 82.45. Now, it's not going to go down there in one full sweep, all right? In fact, the fact that we've had the news out in the for the Canadians, and the market hasn't really done anything. They've kept the rates unchanged, which means that everything's going to come back down to the data. How are jobs? We've got jobs coming out on Friday. I think we're going to get a bigger move on Friday than we did today. They kept the rates unchanged because they're going to go back to the data and see what the data is reporting. If the data is reporting that they need to start pushing rates up, we'll have a rate hike next time. But up until that point, everything's going to be based on data. And I think the investors are going to look at the data to make a decision as to what the data are doing. So we'll see how it's playing out. But right now, possibly going to go see a bounce out and move down to about 83.49. That's what I'm seeing right now. If the structure breaks up, if the market takes out that 84.81 level right here, then clearly structure is broken. Also, I don't want to see price trading above this level right here, around about, 84.40, let's call it 84.50. So 84.50, I want to see price staying below 84.50. And if we stay below 84.50, then this becomes a much better downside target, or at least a more sort of an intraday target at 83.49 for the day. So that seems like a good setup right about there. Now, let's take a look at another pair, and that is that's traded against the Canadian, and that is Aussie CAD. All right, so Aussie CAD, let's go to Aussie CAD right here. There it is. And let's take a quick look at Aussie CAD. So Aussie CAD is doing very similar moves as we saw with the New Zealand CAD. Look at right here. We've got a nice little swing down here. Market came down to the 1.618. There it is there. And now we had some pullback. All right. And the pullback could go as far as this level right here. Let me go ahead and do some changes to this. There we go. So we have price moving all the way up here to this area right here, right? And it's also holding off, or sorry, it can move up all the way to that area, but it's also holding off at this area. Now I'm taking the bodies, not the wick, the body, and you can see how the market's gone in and tested that body open right there. And so here it is. So this is the thing. If we start seeing some any bearish indications, bearish candlestick formations, something that's going to indicate that the price is going to move down, then we may stall over here and start heading back down south. And what is our target? Our target on the US dollar CAD right here, or sorry, the Aussie CAD, is going to be further down south towards this area. And that is at around about, call it 9,000. Now, does the larger time frame gel? Does it set up? Does it confirm? Does it match up with what we're seeing here on the lower time frame? Well, let's take a look. So here is our larger time frame, and we've been talking about price moving down to this area right here at 90.42, and long and behold, there it is right here. Price got right to that level. Now, we got a little spike to it, so there's a little bit of a bounce on that. That doesn't mean that price is not going to move down and just hover in this area first before the rally. So we're expecting the the Aussie CAD to perhaps go ahead and be long-term bullish, but in the meantime, we may get a little bit of a further push to the downside, just so that it can go ahead and hover in this area, and then over here is where we want to start looking for some bullish sentiment. Now we can see that the oscillator is moving into an oversold condition, so which means that if we do come back into this what I call my buy zone right here, then we'll certainly start looking for indication on the lower time frame for a possible buy to the upside. All right, so that's where we're at regarding this. Now, in regards to the oil price, because we all know that oil prices are affected by, or at least the Canadian dollar is affected by oil prices too. Let's take a quick look at oil prices at the moment right now. So on the daily time frame, we can see that price of oil has been range bound, and has been range bound between, let's call it $72 a barrel, all the way up here to around about $81.50 a barrel right here. So it's been range bound. It did come back to retest that level, but it's been range bound. Oil's not really pushing in a direction. Do we see oil pushing long term bullish? Yes, we do. We can see oil going up to $88 a barrel, and maybe even possibly much longer term. We can see oil prices pushing all the way up here to 147. Now that's something we can talk about at another time, but we definitely see oil prices pushing higher. So which means that this range that we're seeing right here, we're eventually going to break out of the range, and we break to the upside towards $88 a barrel. So, but let's just trade what we see, right? I mean, at the moment right now, we're seeing oil prices range bound. So this is creating a little bit of weakness on oil price, because we know that the Canadians can produce only at a certain rate for them to make profit. And if they and because they are a oil producing country, if the oil prices go too low, then they're not making money on producing the oil, right, or selling the oil. So they need to, they can only produce at a certain rate, and I believe the rate is $72. So they produce at $72 a barrel, which means that if price of oil goes below $72 a barrel, they are not making money, and so that creates weakness in the Canadian dollar. And so this is right now a very key level where it's at right here. If it does trade a little lower, it's going to be testing that break-even point for their producing price, and that's going to be a concern for the Canadians. So the weaker it gets, obviously, becomes a problem. If we start seeing oil prices starting to push back up again, we'll certainly start seeing some strength back in the Canadian dollar, and we can see some competitive rates. So we'll see how that plays out. Another currency pair that I'm keeping an eye on, which is a cross with the Canadian dollar, and that is CAD Swiss. And there it is here. The CAD Swiss is actually sitting in this range, and it's struggling to break out. Take a look over here. We're actually now at the bottom of the range once again, right down here. And so it's also telling me that we're going to see a turnaround in the Canadian dollar. Despite of the news out today, I believe that we're going to see some strength coming out in the Canadian dollar. And so this is what this means for me. I'm seeing this right here as an opportunity, a buying opportunity. So I mean, if you look at when did we, it's sort of like the beginning December. So since the beginning December, we've been inside this range. And we've had some rate decisions, we've had some news out, we've had job reports, we have all this stuff. Yet the market still has not broken out of that range. So this to me is a good buy opportunity right here. If price does move down a little lower, this is another good buy opportunity because we're probably going to sit inside this for some time because we are anticipating a breakout to the upside. All right. If you go ahead and compress the charts and you look at what we've seen here so far, you can see that this area where we're trading right now is a very, very strong area, and therefore bounce is expected. And we're expecting a bounce to come back to retest this level of resistance at around about 71.08. So I'm going to say that where the price of the CAD Swiss is at right now is a good indication of good support, and that we're anticipating that the bounce we're going to get is going to be bullish. So anything right now, if you're at this support right here, I see this as a good opportunity. Now, without trying to pick the tops and pick the bottoms, this could be an opportunity for traders to perhaps look for, if they're using any sort of oscillator, if they're using any sort of trading system, whatever it is, they can start looking for bullish signals. I would not be looking for bearish signals on the CAD Swiss. I would be looking for, and if there's no bullish signals, then you're simply not going to gain anything, nor are you going to lose anything. But I would be looking for bullish signals on the CAD Swiss to anticipate price to go ahead and start moving up. So here's our first level of support. You can see it very clearly on the 1 hour time frame. It's right here. If this holds, then guess what? We've got at least 100 pip move to the upside right here as we go ahead and test that resistance. Again, since this on the 1 hour has been since, let's say, mid-January. So this has been like 2 months of just sideways action of 100 points on the CAD Swiss. It's going to take a lot more than just a rate decision that's going to keep the rates unchanged. They're going to need a lot more than that to make a breakout of this. That's what I believe, but we'll have to wait and see. All right. So CAD Swiss. And then, of course, finally on the last pair right here is going to be looking at, let's take a look over here. Well, actually, you know what? I know there's been a lot of conversation about gold and where's gold going to. Well, let's take a quick look at gold. I'm going to go to the daily time frame for that. We get a long-term outlook of what gold looks like right here, and again, just looking at structure. All right, traders, we're technical traders. Some of you might say, well, you fundamental, that's fine. I'm a technical trader. I use fundamentals to be able to, make sense of what my technicals are doing when we have a nice push in a direction. Normally, it's driven by fundamentals, but the technicals tell me where I can expect the turning points to be the turning points to be in the market, but also to expect where the market can go. And so, right now, looking at gold. Gold's at a very, very good place right now for buyers. Very good place in buyers. We actually built this out, and we noticed that here we have a structure, wave 1, 2. We had a third wave move right here. Prices now come back to almost retest that wave 1. This high is holding it back. So this is fourth wave right here. And so we're expecting gold actually to start moving bullish. We expect gold to go all the way up here to 2021 right there. So we're looking for gold to rally up towards this area. That's where we're seeing gold going up over the next few weeks. Sorry, it's the next few months. Won't be weeks. All right, so we are looking for a rally in gold. Now, again, there could be multiple strategies to be able to trade gold. Gold could be traded with cost averaging. Gold could be traded based on short-term swings, meaning going down to the 1 hour time frame, maybe the 15, and trading some short-term swings. So there are different ways to be able to trade it, and anticipate, of course, the upside move. But this is the target. If you're writing down numbers, write 2021 down there, because that's where we're anticipating gold to go to. All right. With that being said, traders, I've got another session I've got to run to. hopefully you guys have picked up some cool information right here today. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate everyone being here. I will see everyone back in the next session on Wednesday next week. So with that being said, it's FX Big Dog signing off.
Thanks again for watching today's show. Our goal at A1 Trading is to continue to share free value to our audience through daily videos and articles, keeping you up to date with the latest market coverage. If you enjoy our content, make sure to subscribe for more. And remember, if you open a $1,000 or more trading account with 8cap, you'll receive a free copy of the Edge Finder. Click the link in the description below to find out more. From all of us at A1 Trading, have a great day, and we'll see you next time.